following segment is sponsored by the Appa Clark team at Elite Real Estate.
Welcome back to AM Northwest. Home inspections are an important part of the home buying process. Here to tell us what we need to know, we welcome back from Elite Real Estate Appa Clark team, senior broker Courtney Clark, and home inspection expert Robert King. Good to have you both with us.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for having us back.
So talk to me about why we need a home inspection, first of all, Courtney, and why that's so important.
Well, home inspections are the lifeblood of the house. It tells us what's going on. It's like going to a doctor. You need to know what's going on with your house. You need to know what's going on with your body. And a lot of home sellers or buyers and owners don't go into crawl spaces. They don't go into attics on a usual basis.
Yeah.
So they need to know what's going on.
What if I have someone in the family who's into?
That's a great question. And I would say we always want to refer back to an inspector in general, because they're going to give you a non-biased opinion, and your family isn't necessarily going to give you that. No, that's true.
That's true. Robert, what are the problems you see most often?
Most often, there's a ton of problems.
Gutters, like gutters.
Yes, gutters. So outside is probably the most important things that I like to look at, because we need to shed water. So gutters are oftentimes overlooked because people think, oh, the water just spills over, it's not a big deal. But what can happen is that splashing water rots out the bottom of the siding. So gutters are overlooked a lot of times. Also, it can redirect water back into the wall of the house.
We're looking at this gutter here. That's not in good shape.
Wasn't one of my houses.
That's a common problem, and it's funny, people just drive in and out of their driveway. They don't look up at their house. They just keep on keeping on. So and that's why we have inspections, and I get to see things like that and take pictures of it, and then try to train them on what should happen.
What should happen from there? Because usually then the idea is then for, if you're buying the house, work in some kind of compromise, right?
Right. Well, of course, that's what we want at the end of the day, is we want to have the inspection so we know what's going on.
Right.
And really, that's something that we emphasize with home buyers, but also with home sellers. You want to know what's going on. Before you get to that home sale, you don't necessarily need to be selling or buying a house to have an inspection, and we want you to know what's going on. So,
ventilation systems too, as well, are important?
Yes, ventilation is really important in attics. Otherwise, you start developing mold. Ventilation under the house. If you're from out of the area like California or something, you're used to a lot of slab foundations. Here we have crawl spaces, and so one of the things that happens is you have damaged foundation vent screens.
And this is what we're looking at right now.
There you go, right there. So line set penetrations into those vent screens, that lets...
I was just going to say, line set penetrations into those vent screens. I was just going to say, that's what I said.
I took the words out of your mouth. I'm so sorry. But that keeps the rodents. That lets the rodents in there, the mice. And then when the mice and rats get in there, they crawl on the ducts, and they just create all kinds of
stuff. And foundations in general are so important.
Absolutely.
You need to have a good foundation.
Oh, yes. So exterior foundations, those are all the important things, plus low in the opening. That's a great picture of a failed foundation, and it looks like someone just stacked some blocks back there to try to keep some rats out, but that's not going to do very well, because the rats can just go in around the through the holes. So
and there are watermarks too to keep in mind too, right?
Absolutely. And so that kind of comes when I first pull up to a house and I look at a house and it's sitting low in the hole, so ground's all sloping towards it. We know there's going to be water in that, and during the summertime when there's not a lot of water, it can be hard to determine.
So we look at
we'll look at staining on the foundation, and we'll know that has fundamental problems.
Should the homeowner be there when the inspection is going on, you think?
Well, if they're the ones ordering it, yes. But if it's the buyers, we want the buyers to be there, but we don't necessarily want the sellers to be there, because unfortunately sellers sometimes think that their baby is not ugly, and they have the best house and the best stuff, and they've done the best stuff. And so we encourage them to not be there, but we definitely want the buyers to be there so that they can hear from Robert or from an inspector that it's not as scary. When you get those inspection reports later on, they can be incredibly daunting when you're looking at pictures like that you just saw.
But so important to get an inspection. So very important.
Absolutely. It's like going to the doctor and then having the doctor give you a reference to go see the dermatologist or whatever.
Exactly. So we want to tell everyone, if you would like to find out more about Appa Clark Elite Real Estate, just go to our website at katu.com. Thank you both very much. And I'm glad I could figure out that problem.
You're the